So in reality, you don't want 100 instance of something, okay? Especially if you got NPCs and you got a lot of different variances between weapons. Like, you might want this weapon script to have 100 different weapons, okay? Pulling memory for each one of those for 100 different weapons could be very, very expensive for you, because you'll have to go into each one of these objects. And oh, here's another thing. Here's the very greatest reason for this. Okay, let's see you got this FPS controller right here. Okay? The benefits of doing it from an asset is the asset itself is just the weapon, right? So the asset has the information for the firing rate and all that. Well, if you have multiple different characters, like you have Jill, Jane, John, and things, okay, and you wanted all of them to have the same variables all the way across the board. Well, the reason why it's good to have an asset is because you've got the central location that you can hit here, and guess what? It doesn't matter, because every character you have pulls it from the asset. It's not independent. Like, okay, this FPS controller has a horizontal of 3, and you wanted to duplicate him because you wanted to do another one. Well, guess what? Because you duplicate it, it does the transfer of this. But let's say you want to say, no, I don't like this. I want everybody to have the same horizontal. Well, guess what? You have to go through each one of your prefabs. Like, you could have like 10 different characters and change every single one of them. To me, that is ridiculously dumb. And let's say, because if you wanted it to be unique to each character, all you have to do is just copy the asset, change the values, put the asset in, bam, there you go, done. That is the benefit of a central location of information. Like all these, like, okay, walking speed, running speed, jump speed, stick speed, all these variables right here that you see, we can take all these right now and stick them in an asset. Like a main player asset with weaponry and everything else. We can put all that stuff in one central location. And at runtime, you can change it. You can literally sit there and change all these values to what you want. So, because you're doing it at runtime, the asset, it saves the information. So, when you unclick it, well, when you unclick it, it'll keep all of it. So at runtime, you can adjust everything that you need. You don't have to bother with that manage-some serializable information where, hey, you lose the information at runtime. No, I didn't, because I'm putting in an asset. I was smart like that. Like this audio source, we can actually do this and put it into a controller. See this array right here? We can take this out of the array right here and just have it go into the asset for footsteps and just have it pull it straight out of there. We don't have to have all this information floating around taking memory for each character. And that's the thing. Each character has its own piece of memory that wants it to be unique. That's why I'm really, really glad that I am going to take an approach of using assets for information instead of that. And because of the asset being there, you're going to be able to do so much more. Because it being an asset that's in your project, you've only got one reference. So when you do all these displays for how many bullets and stuff like that, and what, hey, if you want to do a pickup, like you're sitting there looking at it, well, you're going to have a string and a window popping up. Well, you can have that string in the asset itself. And each weapon can have its own asset too. You don't have to make it one big old main one. You can make it any which way you like. It's very, very easy to do. And some people will go, well, why don't we just use a dictionary or a list? Well, the really great thing about, which, it works. It works. It's a really good way. But the problem with that is using a list in a dictionary is you have to runtime, initialize, and instantiate a list, okay, which is pulling memory off your initial start. So if you want to optimize it a little further, don't initialize something. Just use the container that's already there. Or just make a prefab somewhere in the scene, okay, like the directional light, and stick your script on it, okay? But you're going to still have to do references, which in code, in our weapon manager thingy right here, weapon test right here, we can have it, well, should we do that? Maybe we should put it into a base.class for information. That could be a very good thing for us. Just put it in like war fps.info right here. Okay, that way it's got a direct reference to something, and the abstract class could just grab it. But that's up to you guys. I mean, I know how I'm going to do it. It's going to be very different, but I wanted to expose you guys to a different method of doing something. Instead of the old mono develop, put a bunch of variables here, adjust them at whatever time, tweaking them around. Very boring, but yeah, it's time to spice them up a little. Now, I was asked how you can do this, the animation system. This is how you do it for the mechanism system. Very easy. Love the mechanism system. I like working with it because you can blend and things. I mean, if you wanted to do it the old legacy way, you'd have to hit play, and then if something's playing, you'd have a lot of if statements and cross fade and a lot of other stuff. Where the state machine that we're already in, this is basically the equivalent of a crossfade. It is. If this was a firing animation and it ran like really, really fast, it would blend really nicely. I might do that way. But I wanted to make it simple for you guys and spice it up with some information about other stuff that we could use that is actually in Unity 5 that's free for us to use, unless we do that whole over 100 grand. But you can read that stuff, you know it. But yeah, this is my explanation. I hope you guys take something from it. I mean, it's not much yet, but when we get into the next video where I talk about the asset creation that we're going to use for information, I look for you guys to be very happy with that one, because it's very useful. Now, take care, like, hit subscribe. I know this ain't much programming, but I wanted to give you guys a taste of just how to do something. But see ya.